Our team has been investigating Matt Schrier's story for 3 weeks, and one of the most extraordinary things is that he lived to tell it. Most Americans were savagely executed or they're still missing.
Not every FBI agent is bad, I realize that, but the ones that are bad need to be weeded out. And the ones who let them be bad and who turn their head need to be exposed.
New Yorker Matt Schrier, the first Western hostage to escape al-Qaeda in Syria in 2013, wants answers from FBI leadership and the agents who handled his case, including former Director Robert Mueller, who now leads the Russia Special Counsel investigation.
I emailed them, probably between my mother, my father, and me, between 50 and 100 complaints.
After Director James Comey took over from Mueller in 2013, the stonewalling continued.
I was demanding answers from him, and I never got anything back.
As a freelance photographer, Schrier traveled to Syria.
2012, Syria is one of the most dangerous places on the planet.
I thought it would be a great experience, witnessing history, photographing history.
December 31st, 2012. That's the day you became a captive.
New Year's Eve. Very special day.
Instead of crossing back into Turkey, Schrier was kidnapped by an al-Qaeda franchise.
Is al-Nusra really the worst of the worst in Syria?
ISIS pushed them out, but at that time, they were number one. They were the guys who did not want to be held by.
Schrier spent the next 7 months held in 6 prisons.
Were you tortured?
Yes. They caught me trying to escape, and they flip you over so your feet are in the air and you're handcuffed, and they take a cable about this thick, about as thick as a nightstick, and they whack your feet.
6 weeks after his disappearance, Schrier's records indicate al-Qaeda began draining his bank accounts.
How did al-Qaeda get your passwords?
They put a piece of paper in front of me and said, basically, write down all the passwords, want your social security number. That was basically how the whole identity theft process started.
What did they buy?
They bought laptops, they bought tablets, they bought boots.
Did they buy crazy stuff too?
Yeah. They bought a Kama Sutra guide. They bought cologne.
At the same time, Schrier says the FBI monitored the transactions, and Agent Perotti misled his mother, implying he had joined al-Qaeda and he was on a spending spree for the terrorists.
Why are they letting them steal the money? What's the angle? Well, what are they buying? They're buying laptops and tablets. If they intercept them, they do their little spy thing, and then they deliver them right into the hands of al-Qaeda, and they create basically a dream come true for the intelligence community.
You're saying the FBI sacrificed your safety in order to track al-Qaeda?
Yes.
Former intelligence officials told Fox Schrier's theory is more than plausible.
That's a big allegation to make.
I can prove it.
By April 2013, Schrier says Agent Perotti tipped her hand during a conversation with a government official.
Do you think that he joined them? I'm like, what's going on? She's like, no. We're pretty sure he didn't join them based on his financial records. Boom, she slipped. She admitted she was monitoring my financial records as of early April.
A government official confirmed Schrier's account to Fox. Nearly 5 years after a harrowing escape, he documented his story in a new book, The Dawn Prayer. He remains angry at how the FBI handled his case.
What I needed help with was reestablishing a life for myself, which means a new social security number and rebuilding my credit. I still can't get a credit card to this day. You have the Witness Protection Program. You give new social security numbers to murderers and pimps and drug dealers. I'm a witness too, and I didn't do any of that stuff. No, can't help you.
Schrier says the CIA and FBI debriefed him.
You gave the U.S. intelligence community a roadmap.
I gave them more information than probably 50 informants could have given them.
Fox News reviewed 24 emails, including correspondence with the Bureau. Citing an ongoing investigation, the FBI declined to answer specific questions and did not make Agent Perotti available. To this day, Schrier continues to get the bureaucratic runaround.
And what I got in return was lies, betrayal, nothing.
Incredible story, Catherine. I mean, basically, they realized that he was an in for them. So he gets captured, he's got his laptop, and they're tapping into that connection because the laptop's been taken over by terrorists and being used. But what about him? What was done to get him out?
Well, he says in the interview, and we looked at this for several weeks, that he can't really find a lot of evidence that the FBI lifted a finger to try and secure his release. What the records do indicate is that the FBI had visibility into his financial records, and they could see al-Qaeda was purchasing, in one purchase, 10 laptops, computers. That is not typical behavior of any consumer, let alone someone who is inside of Syria, Mark.
So they're using that information to then follow that trail to find out where they're going, what they're using it for, where the boots are going?
Well, we asked Schrier for specific evidence that it had been tracked. And he said, if you connect the dots, you can see that this is the explanation that makes the most sense. But we know from talking to current and former intelligence officials that if they have access to the financials, they can see what they're purchasing. This is just a tremendous opportunity to gather intelligence. And remember, in 2012 and 2013, we were almost blind into what was happening in Syria. We didn't understand the groups. We didn't understand the connection between al-Qaeda and also with ISIS. I mean, his allegation is a very serious allegation. But the question that
they sacrificed him.
That they sacrificed him to gather intelligence. But what we don't know is whether this was, a one-off, or whether this was a pattern that was followed with other hostage families as well.
And that agent made a very big assumption, if that's true, that she said, well, we think he's turned.
Well, look,
how would she know that?
Well, we don't know what her side of the story is. And unfortunately, the FBI would not make her available to us and would not answer specific questions because they're very serious allegations. But it's more than just allegations. The paperwork is the paperwork. You can see that when he is a hostage, there are all of these transactions. Whoever has his passwords is draining the accounts, and they're delivering computers to Turkey, to Canada. I mean, this is not the actions of someone who was operating as a journalist in Syria. Something was very wrong at that point.
Incredible story. Great digging, great investigation. Thank you very much, Catherine.